All right, in the last problem, we did the intersection of A and B. Now in this problem, they're asking us to do the union of A and B. So here let's look at it very similarly. The set of x's less than or equal to 5, again, started here at 5 and went to the left. Those were x's less than or equal to 5. Our x's that are greater than -2 would start here at -2 and move to the right. We've already discussed that in a previous example. But now I'm looking to join those things together, or union them, which is exactly what it says it is. It's a joining of both of those. Well, if I join both of these sets together, now we're going to be talking about every single number along the number line, because everything from 5 to the left would be part of this solution. Everything from -2 to the right would be this solution. So when I join them together, it's everything. Now, if you'll remember, in doing our interval notation, just abbreviate that. When we start with interval notation, we start reading always from the left to the right. So at the very left, we would start with -infinity. Remember, infinities always get a parenthesis because we don't know exactly where they are. Then we would go all the way to the right over to positive infinity. So in interval notation, it would look like -infinity to positive infinity. In set builder notation, get ahead of myself there. In set builder notation, we always have the set of all x's such that, well, in this case, x would be an element of the real number system. We could write it this way, or you could just say x is any real number. Either way would technically be perfectly reasonable. Let's try doing another example real quick. I think we've got time. This says solve x is less than 3 and x is greater than or equal to -2. So first things first, let's draw out a number line so that we can kind of get an idea of what we're talking about here. I'm going to say zeros right there in the middle. Let's see, 3 would be here, and -2 would be over here. So let's look at the first part of it. X is less than 3. So 3 starts here. If we're talking about less than, that would be to the left. And because there's no equal sign, we would use a parenthesis. So this is what x less than 3 looks like. The x's greater than or equal to -2 would start at -2 and go to the right. Because there's equal, we would actually have a bracket. So this is what x greater than or equal to -2 would look like. Now we need to decide what we're going to do. We're doing actually an AND statement here. Because we're doing an AND, that means we have to decide, are we doing union or are we doing intersection? Remember, AND is an intersection. So an intersection, we're looking at where these things overlap, or where they meet together. So they would overlap starting here at -2 and going all the way over to 3. And then we can use what we already knew about brackets and parentheses there to help us fill that out. Now in interval notation, that would start at -2 with a bracket and go all the way over to 3 with a parenthesis. For our set builder notation, this would be the set of all x's such that, now here again we're talking about the x's that are in the middle or in between -2 and 3. So because we have a bracket here, then that means that there was equal. Because there is a parenthesis, there is no equal.